Analytic breakdown over at WarchantTV.com, exclusive content for our subscribers, written out by our own Gene Williams, founder and administrator of WarchantTV.com, a deep statistical dive into Florida State's wide receivers. Lots of good numbers, lots of good information in there, nuggets, not just anecdotal stuff, but real numbers, Corey. And one of the numbers that kind of stood out to me was the passing yards per game. From 2021, it went from 94th in the country to 28th, nearly an improvement of 70 yards. And it got me kind of thinking. I was listening to one of the Rosillo podcasts, I think, and they were talking about Sean Payton taking the job in Denver and how things are going to work with him and Russell Wilson. And we come up with all these comps for Jordan. And one of the first ones, and we were almost joking about it, was like Russell Wilson because, like the Yazur, because I think Russell's got something like that in his toolbox when he's talking to the media. And also is like, go Hawks, ride, let's ride, or whatever for the Broncos. But, they were talking about just how much kind of the new car smell came off Russell Wilson so quickly this past season in Denver because he was not successful. And this whole, let Russ cook thing, right? Like when he was at his best, Russell Wilson was in Seattle when they didn't ask him to do all that much naturally. Like he would still kind of improvise and create things, but they relied on their run game. They didn't maybe have the most developed, talented wide receiver core, but that run game gave them so much flexibility and opened up so many things for them to be able to pass the ball. Just kind of thinking when it comes to Jordan, how much of his success has been predicated on the fact that this team can run the ball so effectively, so well with seemingly any guy they put there in the backfield with him. And does that still need to be the calling card for this offense this coming season? Or do we need to let Jordan cook? Does he need to, go from 28th in the country in passing yards per game? Does that need to be top 15 for Florida State to get the next rung on the climb, do you think? Or will it be, stay committed to who you are and just marginal improvement?
Yeah, no, I think that you stay look, man, you had at the end of the year one of the best offenses in the country. I would say just stick with that. If you're trying to chase a Heisman, maybe you have him throw 10% more, 5% more than he did. But the beauty of the Florida State offense is normally when you think about like a run-first offense, you're like kind of thinking of a plodding 9-play, 66-yard drive. I mean, they score a lot on their run with their running plays. I mean, they have big plays. They create and block it up to the point where they get massive plays in the run game, 50, 60-yard plays. They can be as quick strike handing the ball off, or Jordan even keeping it, as they can throwing it, post patterns and deep down the sideline. Like I think you do exactly what you've been doing. I don't think he needs to, as you said, cook. I also think the beauty of it, though, is when the run game isn't working well. You got that. But I think, because, look, man, I don't think the way the last two games of the season went, particularly the last game of the season, was what Mike Norvell was looking for. Like where Trey Benson, what do you have, 19 yards? He only needed 25 to get to 1,000, and he usually can get that on one or two runs, and he had 20 in the whole game. They couldn't run the ball real well against Oklahoma, not traditionally anyway. They threw it for 400 yards. But I don't think that's what Mike Norvell wants to do. I think he really does want a lot of balance, and he does want to feed those running backs and play off that great running game. So I don't foresee them changing much at all. I think they're going to, Jordan Travis around 30 throws a game to me is exactly, what did he average? You got that on hand? Is that one of the analytics you saw, Aslan? How many passes did he average per game?
That is not in the chart. It's not in the chart. Sorry.
Oh, well, that's too bad. We could probably look that up, I bet. Just you tell me the number, and I'll divide it by 13, and it'd be pretty quick. But I would guess it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 25. Yeah. Maybe you tick that up to 30.
353?
So 353 divided by 30 is, 390 13. Would be 30. So
27.
Yeah, it'd be 28, 27. Okay, there you go. Yeah. So, because 390 attempts would have been 30 a game, and it's less than that. So, I think maybe get them to 30 passing attempts a game, but they don't want to be that, right? They're not going to be the spread you out, throw it 10 times a game, offense. There's a lot of RPOs, though, too, man. So I think the defense a lot of times dictates how many times they throw the ball. And if you're going to let them run the ball, or if you're going to give them a look where Jordan thinks I can run to the left right here, he is not the guy, thankfully, that's going to pull it out just so he can throw another pass. He's going to seemingly do what's best for the offense on every play.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, do you want to just pick up where you left off, or like, is there a belief within like the fan base that they need to still like take another step when it comes to the way they play offense? Because, we put so much onus on them going into the season that they were the ones that can have to really step up. The defense seemingly played pretty well second half of 2021 that you thought if they could maintain that, you'd be all right. But the offense, it was their turn. I mean, you got so much invested on that side of the ball because it's your head coach and all that kind of stuff. I think there's this belief that maybe he's just going to hit this sort of next level, which would be awesome. Which I'm here for it. But I just wonder if we just kind of hang out
next
what we
level,
were doing.
Do you mean next level just in production?
I would think so. I mean, I think people
Because
want
I
to
feel
see
like
a
he
2013 level offense, just absolute efficiency,
that's
surgical, just domination, overwhelming everybody.
I think that might be a little tough to reach that, but it's close, man. I mean, that offense the last half of the season was pretty darn close to one of the best offenses in Florida State history because they were scoring. That first team offense was scoring like 60% of the drive, 65% of the drive, something like that. Just a crazy number. So they're pretty close, and I think, man, I just think I don't know that he can go another level because I think by the end of the year, he was hitting his head on his almost as well as college quarterbacks can play. Yeah. Again, I go to those last two games. That Florida game, I know the stats were 13 out of 30, but he had 5 or 6 horrible drops, and then he had the crazy runs. And then the Oklahoma game, he threw for 400. So, I don't know that you can go much up. If you maintain, make a couple of improvements here or there, but just maintain, and your offensive line could be better. Your running backs could be better. Your wide receiver core should be better. It's exciting times in Tallahassee.